of it that my
That's the
husband
question,
and
is the
son.
car gone?
Yes, that car is gone.
Thank you. I saw others there too, so.
I have a question.
Yes,
May
ma'am.
I, please? I'm just wondering why the cars that she and her son intend to restore do not fall under subsection 2 of that very violation you cited for, which is exempt under automobile graveyard. It gives you a list of things that are exempt, and exempt within that definition are some of the vehicles that they're actually going to restore because they have sentimental value.
I didn't hear her, David, so you being the code enforcement officer, have you heard her? Did you answer that question?
I can't actually reading the section she's referencing. I'm not sure.
It's right on the website, and it's exactly under the verbiage and the language that the attorney put onto her citation, or whatever you want to call it, the violation. If you follow down through there, I, as a reasonable person, in my personal opinion, is that some of those vehicles fall within subsection 2. Would you like to read that?
Well, just looking at what you're providing to the board, it looks like that might be the state law on junk cards and
Correct.
recycling.
Which is exactly below what your attorney defined as.
And the council and the attorney, there's also, the second part of this is the town ordinance. So there's two different avenues here. One of them is the way the junkyard law is worded, and then you have the ordinance itself, which does not allow inoperable motor vehicles.
Right, and I pulled the exact same verbiage off from the exact same section that the attorney pulled it off from the main state website, which municipalities, it's Title 30-A, Chapter 183.
And like I said, we'd also have to look at the ordinance itself, not just
I'm
the
just
state law.
saying, you know, a reasonable person is, if she has vehicles that hold sentimental value, she lost her husband, for God's sakes, and it hasn't been that long. And these kids want to restore a couple of their dad's vehicles. Her son wants to restore the, whatever, what was it?
The van.
The van is
And he
The van
wanted,
is
he wanted to
registered.
take care, it's registered.
So
an
that's
ATV.
irrelevant. The van's off the table. Is it the same van that this gentleman was?
Yes, it is.
So that's off the table. It's registered. Okay? I'm all fairness, okay? I just feel that she's been treated very, very harshly. I mean, in this time of COVID, for God's sakes, it's not easy to find someone to move stuff or to help her do that. Nobody wants to do that.
In the defense of what we did, this was months and months and months ago, before the COVID ever arose. There was an agreement to have a schedule of when this was going to be done, when that was going to be done. And there were a lot of other things. So we're looking, what, in fact, did we decide back then, what has been done and what hasn't been done?
And this gentleman was supposed to write me up a list, and he never did. Because I asked him specifically, and he said, he told all of you, I will write down a list of what needs to go, and I never got one.
Okay.
Just like I never got a notice that I was going to be one of your topics tonight.
Can you, from memory, sort of share with us a summary of what you had accomplished that was on that list? Do you remember?
My granddad is gone.
Which
My
one?
husband's boats are gone now.
Which she had every right to keep and restore. I think it's just sad. It's really
Now you guys
sad.
want me to, my son is taking my husband's van down to New Hampshire now.
She has to. And it
I-
says right
I-
in there, under subsection 2, and I really wish that you folks would consider that, or at least do the homework on that.
And the note said I'm supposed to get rid of my trucks. My Scottsdale is a yard truck. My plow truck. That does not have to be registered, inspected, insured, anything. It's my yard truck that my husband bought for me back in '83. My Silverado is my husband's truck that I drive every winter. And the reason it was sitting there in my yard is because I had to find somebody that would put on rocker panels and change the transmission lines on it. I can't drive it like that. And you guys wanted me to get rid of it. It was my two trucks, my car, and my van. And that's what the main letter was that you guys sent me, that I had to get rid of. And then you added on, oh, by the way, you got a bunch of junk boats out there too. Okay, my tri-hull was my husband's boat, and my son was gonna buy a new motor for it and fix it up and drive it. Well, it's gone now. You guys are just taking away my whole life because some bitch that lives across the street doesn't want to see it. But when my husband lived there, it was fine. He had all that stuff. But now that he's gone, I gotta get rid of it. I had 37 years with this man, and you guys are taking it all away from me.
Her son.
My 5 children, they want something from their dad. My son wants his truck. My other son wants his van. My car is gone.
The boat isn't junk. The snowmobile trailer is
gone.
fine. But the yard is clean. In the pictures you just provided, the yard is clean. It's
There's
safe.
nothing wrong with my
There's no
yard.
life safety issues. None. No life safety issues at all. I think this is just really sad.
So, ma'am, I gotta ask a question, maybe I missed it. I didn't get your name or who you are,
My name is Robin Bayou. I grew up here in this city.
Yeah,
I graduated with you.
right, yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying, so everyone else would know.
Yeah, and I'm a friend of Lena's.
Okay.
And I just felt she needed some support because she's alone. And she doesn't deserve all of this harassment. I can see other properties here in this city. Are you all giving them notices? Are you all giving them notices?
So, hang tight, please, hang tight, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I mean.
Hang tight,
everything
please,
there-
please, hang tight. Thank you. Thank you for answering, tell us who you are, too. Mr. Bowman.
Okay, the only thing I wanted to address here was the reason why we're sitting down here today to find out how much further the council wanted to go. You know, the thing is, if you've cleaned your property up so it's in non-violation of property maintenance order, then I would suggest that we just move on. And as far as other properties, we deal with other properties all the time. And unfortunately, as you see, these are long drawn-out processes. And that's what we're dealing with here. You know, the problem is when you live in a neighborhood and you have people who live next to you and they make a report, we have to follow up on that report. That's part of living in a society. And if there's violations, then it's our duty to go and make sure that those violations are taken care of. Because if we don't do that duty, then it's dereliction of duty on our part. We're not doing our jobs. It would be no different than if you had a neighbor next to you who had a property that you didn't find that was in compliance and you called us, we'd have to go and deal with it. And that's where we are with Ms. Schumann. You know, the thing is, the fence that she put up, I can tell you right now, I'd be a little upset if I had looked at that every day, but it is what it is. There's nothing in the ordinance that prevents that from happening. I've been up past that property back when it was in violation, and it was pretty rough. You know, there's other circumstances here. And if she's cleaned it up, then hallelujah, we move on. If she hasn't, then we're just gonna try to go and get that finished. And I think Dave has to get behind that fence to see where it's at. And,
He went behind it with his camera.
Dave, did you go behind it?
I stood on the side of it and took pictures. You can see the pictures that I
I
take.
haven't seen it. But that's my thought on it.
Okay, so I'd like to make a recommendation, I'd like to table this until our next meeting. If Mr. Savage can go up as our code enforcement officer, if you'll let him on your property,
I want to be there.
that's fine, absolutely, ma'am. I think that's very much in your right to do, and you should be there. So with that recommendation, I'd like Mr. Savage to go up, take a look at the property, see what is not in compliance. If there is some not, please let Mr. Bowman know. He can in turn tell us, and we'll bring it up at the next meeting.
I would like to know when that next meeting is too, because
Absolutely,
I
ma'am.
found out about this one by accident, because I chased him down and asked him what he was doing on my yard.
We'll make sure you do. So that's my motion. Can I get a second? Second. All in favor? Thank you. You all set? Good. And you'll let Gary know when you're gonna go up there and all. Next one is item number 4, it's a COVID policy.
Okay, we made an adjustment to that COVID policy. I've already sent this around. I've had communications with Bob Nutting on it. I agreed with his rationale. He thought that we should move that into the section of out-of-state travel, employees traveling out of the state of Maine, and that's what I did. So if there's any other comments on that, then great. If not, that's all I had for you.
Any questions on it, any comments? Would you like to make a motion?
Do you need this accepted as our policy now?
That's our new policy. We have.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we accept this updated policy for COVID-19.
Mr. Nutting seconds, all in favor? Thank you. Moving on to the next one, is considering new fees for transfer station.
Okay, the reason why we have this is because we're going to a system where we're going to be able to accept debit cards and credit cards, and there's an added cost. So what you have here is you have a single page sheet, and it shows that we're just going up pennies basically on most of this stuff. For instance, mattresses and box springs. Before it was $10.36, we brought it up to an illegal $11. And it goes all the way down through there. It covers the cost of the credit card, makes it more convenient for our customers, and that'll be, if there's any discussion on that, like here. We are going to be still accepting cash up there. You know, I've had a couple of people mention that it's going to be really impossible to get away from the cash situation. I don't disagree with that. I think we're going to find it's going to be very minimal. But anytime you get cash, you got the chance for shortages, and so we're going to try to push away from it. But some people it's not going to be possible.
And also the billing, we're going to try to
Push away from the billing.
stop billing.
Because currently we do a lot of billing up
I
there.
make a motion, we accept these updated rates at our transfer station.
Motion's been made, seconded by Mr. Bowman, all in favor? The next is to discuss the agreement between the town and owners of 435 Town Fountain.
Okay, you have a copy of a draft of that quote agreement. This is basically taken off from a template. All I had to do is go in and change and add and all that stuff. This is actually came from the state of Maine. Now, Bob had mentioned that to me at one of the last meetings, if we're going to have to do this, and the answer is yes. But I haven't had a conversation with the property owners yet. They have to understand that if everybody signs this, it has to be attached to the deed of their property, and it's going to follow that property forever, which is going to make it tough to sell. But we're going to have that discussion. The equipment's been ordered for the house, and like I said, we've got one property up there with PFAS is an issue, and it's not overly abundant in their water supply, but it is over the state limits, so we are going to own that. I'm sure that all of you have had a chance to read through this, and if you have any questions, then
Does this equipment filter out that?
it's a water treatment system.
Yeah.
It's about $3,000. It's 90-10 split. State pays 90% of it, we get 10% of it.
But that water is potable once it goes through this system, right?
Right, yes it is. And the thing is, they've never drank the water.
Yeah, I know, you told us they didn't drink it anyway.
Yeah, they never did. And they really don't care if this is in there or not, but this is something that the right thing to do is for us to put it in there. And so I'm not even sure that they're going to sign this, but I just wanted to draft it up one.
Mr. Nutty?
That was my question. Have they seen this? Have they?
No, I wanted to get it past you, find out if you guys were okay with it, and take it to them. Might have been putting the cart before the horse, I don't know, but took time to draft it up.
I don't know which is the cart and which is the horse.
I'd make a motion, we continue and finish them the letter. And now, is the equipment in yet?
No, it's not in yet. It's been ordered.
Okay.
So motion is made, do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Nutty, all in favor? Thank you.
I've got one more item that's not on there. Pleasant Point Park. Most of you have been aware of what's been going on up there. And we have made a decision to follow the existing ordinance in the town of Oakland and restricted that to residents only use at this point in time. I don't think I have any intention of keeping it that way for any length of time. I think that we need to let this rest for a couple of weeks. The message has been sent. I mean, we've got statewide recognition of this thing. The radio stations had it. Social media has just completely gone nuts over the whole thing. We've had Pete Tibbetts up there for the last 2 days. I think he's had one car full of local residents. Everybody else has been from out of town. A lot of taxi cabs coming in, you know, and seeing the sign and talking with Pete. They turned around and left. Obviously, the Oakland Waterfront Park is still available for people to use, but they went in there, and this has been an ongoing issue for a while. This year has been worse than anything we've seen. Fires in the woods. Fire department actually responded to a fire up there on Sunday. The people who led the fire in where the pine trees are, which is about a foot of duff in there, which is dried pine needles. This fire will burn underneath that stuff for days before it comes out. They ended up getting called up because they never extinguished their fire. The straw that broke my back on it was I received a call from a gentleman who actually was confronted by some younger people in their 20s. They had a campfire, an illegal campfire in the woods, and he confronted them. I believe it was on Saturday. They got in his face. They said a few foul things to him, threatening him, and he left. Senior, older gentleman, and you know, that's not the type of. Pleasant Point Park is a gift. You know, it's a gift to the residents of the town of Oakland. It's a gift to the people in the surrounding communities, and it's being abused. And, you know, one of the things that I mentioned to you way back was this should be a project that we should look at and do it right. And to do it right, we should be charging the people from out of town and hiring a couple of high school kids to kind of police the park and put some time and effort into this thing, because this is really a gem for this entire region. And I think that we seriously have to look at this now, because if we're not going to do it, then my opinion is put the thing on the market and sell it, and let somebody do something and collect the property taxes on it. But if we're going to do it, we need to go and do it correctly.